things are really tough these days for millionaires and billionaires. I don't know if you've been following the news. I mean, just look at the headlines that we've been seeing out there. I mean, all of these billionaires that are just suffering. Nearly 500 people became billionaires during the pandemic year. Oh, that's so sad. The billionaire boom, how the super rich soaked up COVID cash. Could I get a sad violin? Billionaires got 54% richer during the pandemic. Oh. Look at these guys. They became so rich. And meanwhile, this is all happening on a backdrop of homelessness, across the country. Homelessness, despair, evictions, not to mention, and which are set to explode in September, right? How many of you right now watching know somebody who's been evicted, or you face eviction yourself, or you are behind on your bills for mortgages or rent? Let me know in the chat right now. Well, turns out things have gotten really bad for one landlord. His name is Julio Gonzalez. Yeah, Julio Gonzalez. And here he is. Here's Julio Gonzalez. Here he is. I'm a landlord with 24 properties. We're suffering during Biden's eviction ban, he writes in this article for Business Insider. And no one is helping me. This is the same guy, by the way, who I interviewed a few years ago. And he told me that he was the person responsible for lobbying President Trump so that real estate investors would get a huge payday during the Trump tax cuts. He was there in Washington meeting with Treasury. He was there in Washington, meeting with Trump, meeting with these guys, and he was responsible. He told me, he said, if I wasn't there, he was so proud of himself. If I wasn't there, real estate investors wouldn't have got the cuts that we got. And he was right. He made off like a bandit. I mean, he did really well, right? So this billionaire, Julio Gonzalez, is now crying because the recently extended federal eviction moratorium is causing him and his rental property business to suffer. So he pens this piece, right to this. I basically penned it, but spoke with a reporter, I guess, for this piece. And now on the surface, you might say, hey, Clayton, well, he is a landlord and he's losing money and his tenants can't pay rent. So perhaps we should feel sorry for him. You might say that. So let's just dig a little deeper. Like, how exactly is this eviction moratorium hurting this billionaire who has a private jet, by the way?
Doesn't seem to be hurting his watch either.
Yeah, look at that watch. I didn't even see that. I mean, I just love this idea that you fly, you're suffering and you literally pose next to your private jet for the news article, right? Like we should really feel bad for him. Like any small businessman who owns his own website proclaims him to be truly the nation's forefather of specialty tax services. Mr. Gonzalez is just having a really tough time making ends meet. His 24 properties, his 24 property side hustle, I guess, isn't working so much, right? Tracy says, my landlord went up on the rent on my townhome twice during the pandemic, November 2020 and the upcoming November 2021. So decided to raise rent during a pandemic. Well, he doesn't talk about how much his apparent thriving tax consulting business is doing during this particular article. Gonzalez notes that of the 24 properties, 20 are residential. And Joe Biden's eviction moratorium is driving him to near discomfort because 4 of his tenants are taking advantage of the federally mandated eviction moratorium. So he writes this: the moratoriums have led to a significant and negative effect in profitability for me. Play the sad violin, yeah. It's been a 15% loss in profit. Residents are not paying rent. And essentially this is leading to rent-free living for me. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. My landlord's residents not paying rent essentially leads to free living, while landlords still have to pay for taxes, utilities, and more. It's just tough. My parents came to America from Cuba, and I grew up with nothing. I've worked hard to be successful, so I know what it's like to face challenges. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
To be clear, I just want to be clear. I lost 15% of my profits. Not income. Just my profits. It's just my profits. Sorry. Got a box of tissues. He has the balls, literally the balls, to say, I lost 15% of my profits. Not even my income. Like, it's not a 15% cut in his income, it's 15% profits. He said so much so that, you know what? We haven't been able to do additional improvements on the buildings. This is really hampering our style, basically. So let me set this straight for you as a real estate investor. What he's basically saying is the profits that we would be getting, we can't then offset those profits with additional improvements on the property because of the tax benefits. Like, we can't also then take those additional profits and use them to our tax benefit. That's really what it comes down to. Weirdly, though, nowhere in his catalog of misery does Gonzalez mention whether he or his renters have applied for federal emergency rental assistance program that's supposed to help both landlords and tenants. He, after all, is such cushy friends with members of the administrations. He couldn't just go under Trump and ask for the federal eviction and mortgage support that is available for all of these rich landlords that are taking advantage of it.
He doesn't have time for that. He's over in Barbados or somewhere like that. He doesn't come back here and deal with paperwork and all that stuff. He just wants to stay over where he's at and on his private jet. And
he's got his private jet to fly.
Yeah, he's not going to come back here and do paperwork.
Oh, my God. I love these guys. And also, what's funny is that this article was originally published in Business Insider, and it was basically almost like I'm writing this article, like almost like a sponsored article that it seems like he wrote or something. Like he verbalized it to a writer who just like regurgitated it. So because of the pushback from the initial photo that they used for I'm a landlord with 24 properties. We're suffering during Biden's eviction ban. Here I am in front of my private jet. No one's helping me.
You know what gets me?
They switched the photo. In the article, they switched it to this photo, which is somehow better in his corporate office building.
Jeez.
So they switched the photo. They switched it out.
You would think that with that kind of money, you could afford a real looking toupee.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh man.
I don't wear a toupee.
Yes,
that's one of my wife's. She can't stand that. Just use your real hair because she always spots them. She's like, no one's buying that hair color. Come on. Like, you're that age and that hair color should not be on your head. It just is not real. Come on.
If I were a billionaire and I had to do a toupee, it would cover my entire face and it would look real.
You do like Teen Wolf.
I'd be like Teen Wolf and it would look real. Like people would be like, holy cow, you got a lot of hair. Like, pull on it. Yep. Ow, ow, ow.
Are there such thing as toupee beards? Like, do people put like...
I'm sure there are. Yeah, there's got to be.
Oh, man, that's unbelievable. So, I mean, we should really feel sad for these billionaires. These billionaires are suffering, They're really, really in pain right now. So I think we should all feel badly for them, don't you? I'm really sad for these guys. I feel really sad.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel really sad.
Just one more.
Sorry.
Let's pay tribute.
My 24 properties. And only 4 of my tenants aren't paying.
Ugh, the nerve.
What's that noise? Oh, okay, the jet is ready. Okay, I have to go to lunch in Paris. I'll finish this conversation when I get back, okay?
However, you know that if you go to lunch in the States, you get the 3 margarita deal. I don't think you get that in Paris.
No, I don't think you get that. You don't get that benefit there. Linda, you have to go back and watch the beginning for Stimulus. We have chapters we add to the show. So we're live here every day 7 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Join us 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We do the show every day, 8:30 in the morning, covering the stories you will not see on the mainstream media, on the laughable, horrible networks, the billionaire run news networks.
You're cracking me up.
Thank you, CNN. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. You can also become a channel member by going to morninginvest.com/join, where you can stick it to the mainstream media and support independent journalism. We're able to bring you the stories that you won't see on any of the major billionaire-backed networks. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time, everyone.